who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stop the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they mightst feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calmed. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
They're taking our kids every day. A child a minute, no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them, but when they come your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for their calling. They are giving us the CPS a warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, god damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up by zip tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come, picking you up one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandly. So give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are old Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior anthem. We cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. Our children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping.
Well, that's that. There. We can hear us, right? We're making noise.
Yep.
All right, everything's good. Woo! Tiff, so we're late because of me, obviously. The things are here, but so be it. We'll continue on. So if I start to go, and then it's like a different voice or whatever, be like, Darren, you know, just another reason to say Darren, I guess. But yeah, Hey, that was some good stuff yesterday. We had some good talking about the Constitution and learning about our rights. I hope people took advantage of that and went back and looked at it again and again, because you definitely schooled some business on that. People don't realize how important it is when they're being challenged their rights to stand up for their rights, because that's the core of everything that we believe in and everything that keeps us in line, our government in line. And if we let that stuff go, then they're just going to continue to rape us of our kids and everything else that we have. Like they're just going to take it all away from us. So as much as people may thought yesterday when they were watching this, like, how does this pertain to CPS and how does this work with what we're doing and so on? It has a lot to do with what we're doing, because they shouldn't have been able to do it in the first place. And had you have stood up for your rights in the first place, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. I mean, is that what you tell a lot of parents when they come to you? You're like, well, you didn't listen or you didn't follow these things. I mean, what is the number one main thing out of the Constitution that you have to remember for CPS is what?
That you have a First Amendment right to associate with your children and vice versa. You have a Fourth Amendment right to privacy. And I definitely tell everybody I work with to shut the fuck up in that exact phrase. Do not talk to them. And you have a Sixth Amendment right to face your accuser, and the state cannot be your accuser. And you have a right to a jury trial. And most importantly, under the 5th and the 14th Amendment, you have a right to be heard in court with your evidence and your witnesses.
Right. And with that 5th, you can shut up and not have them hold that against you. So that's a list. That's not the one most important, but it's the many. And people, you need to enforce those rights. Like, how do you tell that to your lawyer? If your lawyer is going against you, if your lawyer is saying, well, let's not this, that, and this, how do you get that across to them? What do you do?
You fire them.
Perfect. That's what it says in my book too. Fire them.
Fire them. They work for the state anyway.
Right. They're just there to make sure that they hold your hand, so that way you have no appeal, you have no nothing. They walk you right down, so it's a completely legal TPR to you. That's what it is, so that there's nothing to argue at the end. I mean, how else are they getting through these cases with no overturnings and no, like there are very few overturns. I know recently there's been some wins, and that's cool, but I think that's because people are waking up to what's real. Before that, they were just letting attorneys here, they have my best interest in their mind. They're absolutely fighting for me. They're doing this, and they weren't. But they have you sold on that, because who would think that such a terrible, terrible thing would be going on? That who would really do this type of thing to someone? Like, that's not America. It's not the America that we're in. That's not the America that we've been born to, and it's not the America that any of us remember living in when we were kids. I mean, hell, you didn't even know what CPS was when I was a kid. I had not a clue. Well, I mean, I didn't have a clue either when I was 41 when it happened to me, but I didn't, like, that was never even talked about or heard of. Like you said orphans, you talked about orphans, but you didn't even know what orphans were. You knew that maybe they lived in a school building somewhere or whatever. I don't even think they were real. I think they were more like a storyteller thing. Was an orphan, like when we were kids, because all these TV shows and everything showed orphans and orphanages, and like your parents joked with you about it, like, oh, you keep it up, you're gonna go to an orphanage, like where the hell's the orphanage? But you didn't really think that CPS is a real deal. Like now, like this is legit, straight up scary shit. Like this is as real as it gets. Like they're coming for you. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And the numbers aren't going down like they should be. They're going up. Each state has a 4% increase every year. How are they doing that? Why are they taking more kids than they can handle? If there's an abundance, that means slow your roll. Maybe pipe back. Maybe with all this fire that you're under, maybe you should roll back your techniques a little bit and stop taking so many kids. Because why are you taking more kids than you can handle? That's just, it's asinine. And so the rumor is that there's more CPS agents than IRS agents.
Oh, I believe that.
But yeah, that's something I read the other day, that there's more of them. So where does all this money go? If they got all this money, billions and billions and billions of dollars being funneled in, we should have perfect parents. We should have perfect children. We should have no substance abuse issues. We should have We should have all of this stuff. Where is it? Everybody should have beautiful housing, like, because that's what this money's for, right? That's what all this Title IV money is for, is to fix the problem, not to remove the child. Removing the child is the furthest thing from where it's supposed to be. So that tells me that these people that are in the lawmaking positions aren't doing their friggin' jobs by making sure that the places that they put our money is being spent right.
Got to reach out to your lawmakers, man, because by will or by force, they're not changing their policies until the laws change. They only change their policies when new laws go into effect. You got to stay on your lawmakers.
And then that's the other thing. How do you get across? Because I tried to do it with my lawyer, but how do you get them on the bandwagon of, hey, these policies and procedures aren't for us. This is for them. This is not made for us.
Okay, so the one thing that you will learn very quickly is that the criminal courts and the civil courts do not swallow their pride and say, oops, we made a mistake. It will never happen. The lawyers aren't going to do anything because they're part of the system.
Right.
The people that we need are the senators, the delegates, the federal congressmen and our federal senators. Those are where we can make real changes, because the local department, the local board of social services, they're not going to change anything, because in their mind, the system isn't broke. The parents are. And that's not right. The parents aren't broke. The system is broke.
Right. And then comes the parents being broke from the system. The system is breaking the parents.
Right.
That's what's really
and that's
happening.
what it's meant to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People say it's not working for what it's supposed to be. Bullshit. It is. This is exactly what they planned. This is exactly what they knew would happen. Look at the increase in all these tent cities and all of this stuff coming up. I'm going to see if I can, because we have a couple of them right around here where I'm at, in Maine, believe it or not, in Maine, which is the highest state with abuse and neglect somehow. But I want to go around to these tent cities, and I will willing to bet $1 that at least 75% of those people that are in those places have had CPS come through and take their kids away from them.
Yep. And let me tell you, the way you win that argument, the law says the child has to have basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
House, or shelter, food, and clothing. It did not say brick and mortar, did not say running water, and it did not say that you couldn't go to the Dollar Tree and buy oodles and noodles every night. It doesn't say that. It says the basic needs, right? So my lawyer had a case, and she told me about this, where she was living in a tent with her newborn at the river. Somebody called CPS, they took the child, and she went in the courtroom, and her exact argument was, it doesn't say that it has to be brick and mortar. It could be a car, a tent, a cardboard box. They had to give her child back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as there's a sign up that says home, right? Who cares what it is?
Home is where the heart is.
Right. It's not home doesn't mean an establishment. Home means where the love is and where the family unit is. Because you could be solid, you could be living, like you just said, in a cardboard box in the middle of some shithole city and just be happy with each other. And that makes your home. Because that's what it's about. Is the love is what makes the home. It's not the building itself. Like that doesn't make it. Just like money doesn't make success. You could have all the money in the world, but be a miserable asshole. Does that make you happy or successful? No, like it's crazy. People, it's just the way you look at it. And home definitely is not where it has to be this luxurious palace, which all of us would love to have. Don't get me wrong. But would you give up in a luxurious palace for a bunch of people around you that, have your back and, love you and take care of you and do anything for you? Like, which one would you rather have? I'd rather have the palace, but I'm just kidding. Sometimes I wonder with the friends that I have, but it's slim pickings out there right now. So I recommend all of you don't go out there and try to find new friends, because it's tough. It's a tough world out there right now. People have lost their values. Like people are stealing all the time now. It's crazy. It's unbelievable what they're doing, and I don't understand where like the morals have gone, the values have gone. All of this stuff has just been whisked away. Like compassion for one another. Helping. That you don't see people helping one another to a degree that you would have once before. And not helping doesn't mean just throwing $1 at someone. Taking some time to, if you see someone down and out, taking some time to take them into the store and get them a couple things to eat, or take some time to talk with them and do such things. Like, it's not just, here's $5, you homeless dude, have a good day. Like, no, that's not, you're not helping a damn thing. Like that person's aching and hurting inside, and you need to help them. Like you need, and like I said, helping's not just throwing cash at them. It's, helping. And that's the thing with like these Title IV services is great, because not only are they funding these things for you, but they're giving you people to talk your problems out with and do the things that should be done. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them now, the way that they're in bed with the CPS. But originally, that was a great thing. A young mom needed some help with her kid. Like she's stressed out. She's never done this before. Maybe she's 16 or 17 or whatever, just out of high school. These programs are put in line to help her and help her with her problems and give her someone to lean back on. And now they've turned it into a damn tell on you program. Like, oh, don't tell me, like I'm going to go call CPS. That's what everybody's afraid of. So no one's asking for any help. No one wants any freaking help. So they've really turned this whole damn thing into a freaking nightmare of a mess. The same thing with the women that are using, and I don't condone drug use whatsoever. However, what I do condone is the fact that they're taking away these women's rights when they go in and they have these babies and they're testing the placentas and the urines and all of that stuff without their permission. That's making women not want to go to the doctors. That's making more and more babies be born outside of a hospital in dangerous conditions and dangerous places, if not babies dying upon birth because they're not going to the right places. All of these things are preventable. And the number one thing that is causing all of this is the, hey, I'm going to tell on you, factor. And that's the truth too. So in all of this stuff where everybody's supposed to be helping one another and doing all of these things, all they've done is destroy it, make it obsolete, and make no one want to have anything to do with it. So now they just have an abundance of money from stealing our kids that they're packing in all of their pockets, because nobody's using services. No one's using anything that they want because no one trusts the damn CPS. So great. That's really working well for everybody.
Well, what irritates me is we have all these homeless people for whatever reason. Now, some people want to be homeless because you're untraceable, and I get it. Is that we're sending all this money to these other countries that are fighting.
Yep.
We're not taking care of people in North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, and Virginia. And the money that they sent to these countries, we could have had, I don't know how many vacant stores you all have up there. Like, we have all these vacant shopping centers, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't they take that money and turn those in to, like, even like little cubicles for the homeless people to have a place to lay their head every night?
Yeah. Why not? They're just sitting there. They're just,
exactly.
There's more than enough things out there. There's more than enough resources out there to help these people. It might not be ideal, but some nights, if you're there just freezing their ass, it's getting to be wintertime now. At least give them some place at nighttime where it's warm so they're not freezing their asses off. And then the other problem is, though, and I talk to a lot of people that are in these situations, again, it's the regulation. Now, you do have to have regulation to a degree, absolutely. But you don't have to lay it on them so freaking thick that they decide they'd rather freeze their ass off than to go in and, lay their head down one night. People still have dignity. They still have some pride. And, like their right to a little bit of privacy would be a little bit. People have just, it's like this. The people that are on the side of CPS have gotten so hardcore that they're government employees, that they're going to report anything that they see, there's some sort of Gestapo for CPS, and that's what foster parents are turning into too, against the parent, the families that in my situation, the people that had our daughter, they all of a sudden they say, whoa, we can't talk to you now because we work for the state.
because the
Oh, you
state
work
made
for
them
the
sign a
state.
contract.
Yeah. So we went from being family members and best friends to now you work for the state, so you can't talk to me. You just made this choice. You've just gone against everything that we've talked about, everything that we've said, because now you work for the state. And they did. They snitched on us. They did. Not that there was anything to talk about that we did, but if we called maybe twice in a day to talk to our daughter, pick right up. Oh, they called twice. They're only supposed to call one time at this time. Are you shitting me? And they use that against us. So they use that against you because you tried to talk more to your child. No, you don't do that. Don't you try to talk more and interact with your child. You do it at 7:15 to 7:30 every night, and that's it. That's what you get. What the hell is that stuff? And then they're going to go and use that against you. And even in court, you must sound like an asshole. You tried to talk to your kid more than you should. Oh, my bad. Sorry, that was my kid that I loved and cared about. Sorry that it looked bad on the court records. We didn't follow the rule of one phone call a day for 15 minutes. Dumbasses. I don't even remember where I was going with that, but that's what I'm saying is that people have just turned into these monsters of wanting to tattle on you and, do all these things. Like what happened to, your family when it was the kid. You know what? A lot of these people don't want to do kinships. Their families are just as much assholes as the rest of the people. Like look at how many people, these families are just turning their backs on calling CPS on people for no reason whatsoever. Calling them because they don't like your son-in-law. Calling them because they don't like the way you scold your parents or you do your parenting. Calling them, all of these stupid freaking reasons that families are being broken apart. What needs to happen is some education to these idiots that call CPS and think it's funny. Because the one thing that you're guaranteed that CPS is going to do is they're coming once there's a report made on you. They have to by law. That's the one thing by law that they have to do, and that's to respond to a report of abuse and neglect on you. So if you make that phone call, people, they are coming. Period. In the story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Oh yeah, Debbie, what happened?
And then you need to file to have the complaint unsealed. Check your state. In Virginia, it's the circuit court, because you can actually turn around and sue the person who called on you.
Oh wow, really?
Yes.
Wow. All right. Guess who we got in the back room here?
Gunner.
We got the G machines in the house. Let's bring them out. Everybody, the G machine is in the house. Mr. Gunner. Oh, he must be doing something. There he is. Yeah, he looks good. You look good.
Wow. Who are we going to piss off today?
Oh, we're working on it. We already was. We're talking about tattletales.
I've been on the phone all day with Virginia lawmakers, several different interviews for media on different platforms in different states. Yeah, even some people in legislation in certain states. Boy, they were really, really upset to find out they're actively involved in treason and sedition against their own people to steal children. Those conversations didn't go over well.
Yeah, how long did those last? 32 seconds?
Oh, no. Actually, they went on for quite a while, and there's going to be several follow-ups.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. That's real good. So go on.
I'm going to indulge and I'm going to eat my sushi.
Oh.
Hope it pisses you off.
That's fresh from the ocean. And where are you from?
I'm originally from the Chicagoland area, but right now I'm in East Tennessee, right close to all that flood damage.
Oh, man. Did you guys get some did you get hit at all from that?
We got rain really, really good, but nothing for crazy play. I mean, Gatlinburg gets it all the time, Pigeon Forge, because of where it's at. It's not designed very well. They got some water. Not too crazy. I mean, things are back up, but like I said, the one thing people don't understand about the people that are around here, grew up in these areas, they are very proud of where they come from. And you're not going to take and keep them down long. They have been for generations being used to being beat on and abandoned by the government, either the state or the federal. These people know how to survive because they're doing it every day. So, but now you've pissed them off. I don't know about this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you gotta watch that Mason-Dixon line, man.
Well, on top of the fact that they had an interaction with somebody supposedly on a plane that was full of children. It was guarded by what was considered FEMA, but now there's a lot of rumors coming out that the UNs are cross-dressing, not in the way you think, but putting on uniforms that look very similar to United States military uniforms and acting with FEMA. So there was a whole plane full of kids that just disappeared out of that area. What's that tail number? Where'd they go? Why is there no questions? Why is there no investigations?
That's it. Well, this is the thing I want to know is we talk about this all, like I think Maine has this year like 1,400, and it's always in between the foster care and the adoption. That's where they lose them, is that little gray area. But like I always say too, how am I gonna know if my daughter is missing? I wouldn't know that because I'm TPR'd. I have no right to her, so I wouldn't know. And the family that has her, if she was missing, I'm going to say that yes, they would know that she was missing. But most of these families, they wouldn't say a thing. They're going to go on to collect them foster family checks, even if CPS told them, listen, we're going to take that kid. You go on, just keep collecting. Because let's be real here. The foster families that they're crushing on, like they're sex addicts, they're drunk. You find them. Like, how did you even vet these people? You didn't vet these people at all. You just got the people that would follow your rule, and then they just want to get a check. That's what they do. Like they don't care about what the well-being for the kids are. They want to find people that are going to let these kids go missing, and they're not going to say anything as long as they get a $600, $700, $800 check a month. They don't give a shit. They're not even feeding up the kid, so they don't care. They're not going to say a word.
Well, we had our own little local thing go on where they recently had a teacher that was bounced around a bunch of these county schools that was constantly accused of sexual misconduct or inappropriate touching, and bounced them from one school to another school. I think there was like 4 or 5 schools this specific one went into, and all they did with the complaints is just move them around to different schools.
Yeah.
And the whole idea was the school board didn't want to get fired for something they couldn't prove. There was the issue. Not the fact of allegation, because it's a wrongful termination suit. See, this is why a lot of these places have teachers unions too. This is why they get away with this shit. They hide under the premise of this shit. They look for layers of protection. Same thing with anything else. Hey, if I'm in the union, I know the union's going to stand by me because, oh, well, it's just kids being this because I'm a tough teacher. Not when you have this many kids. I mean, right. You were talking about, I think there was something about 5 to 6, I think I read, that was coming up in investigation. But like I said, I'm not talking, like these are all probably 45 minutes to an hour away from each other as the crow flies. I mean, these schools sometimes closer, but bounced it around and come to find out it was a gym teacher on top of it. And I think it was like middle school or elementary. He bounced around between different grades. So, yeah. So,
yeah, we got to check this. So on the CPS Victims Hunting Justice show, we have a person that they had CPS called on them because they overslept, or they didn't oversleep. Well, they did oversleep, whatever. They were tired. They overslept. Their son was outside on the bus. His son has special needs, not special needs, but you got ADHD and those type of things, right? So They called because they pulled up and the son was out front with the service dog. All of these things, everything was fine. But because the mom wasn't out there, and the boy's 10, by the way, and he's totally fine himself. The bus stopped right in front of the house. So they contacted CPS to say, look, the mom was sleeping. She overslept in there. The kid was outside by himself with the service dog and all this stuff. Well, the lady watches the videos, and here's the bus driver coming up to the door, looking at the kid. He's got both of his hands down his pants. He's the one that makes the complaint. Turns out that he's the owner of the bus company. Yeah, literally sitting there with both of his hands down there looking at the kid, and he's the one that comes up and makes the complaint. Says that he went to the door, he didn't go to the door, the whole nine. And now this lady's on full-fledged war with these people like, screw you, you're not going to play this game. Finds out that they've been isolating her son in that school. They haven't even told her about it. because of his special needs. He's been locked away in a classroom in the back. They didn't even know about it. She had no idea. She was wondering why her son had been changing and all this stuff. And, the school's been covering it up. School's not been saying a word to her. Literally been keeping this little 10-year-old boy in a little locked up room by himself every day at school. No friends, no nothing. And all of this had to come this way. They were calling CPS, and all of them are in on this. Every one of them are in on this.
Well,
and it's ridiculous.
it's all about. Here's the thing: if you homeschool, they're going to push you into public school. Why? Because they have unfettered access. They walk around with the power of the state. I'm from the state. There's no authority for you to enter. You still need the parents' permission to question a child. 100%. It's unconstitutional. You can tell them that bullshit all you want, but here's the thing: they get you on record or on a recording saying that, they'll fry your ass. And then you get the extra charge on top of it because it's a crime involving a minor. Oh, it works both ways.
Well, we hope that's the way that they're going to go. I mean, why if that was the way it's going to go, why are they getting away with it so much? Why are they allowing this to, because CPS is infringing into the schools now? They push their ways into the school to make it acceptable. The only person that's responsible for your child at the school is the principal. Principal is the only one that should be doing anything with your child, and they should be notifying the parents. So why is it that the principal isn't being held on all of these levels of this stuff? Like, that's the one that needs to be held accountable.
Because they have contracts with the schools, the doctors, the hospitals. They have contracts with CPS because they're mandated reporters. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the tattletales. That's what he goes back to. Yep.
Here's the problem. And this goes to everything in your life, and I tell everybody this. There are two reasons, only two. No other reason. It's one or the other. It always is. For a misunderstanding or an argument, you lack one of two things. Proper communication to where each person absolutely understands your point of view clearly from your thought process. Remember, nobody ever thinks the same to you. Be open to answer questions. All those type of things. Open to communicate. That's the point of communication. Or we lack knowledge. Number two. In other words, we didn't have the information. We were doing the scientific method, if you will, which most of us do automatically. It's deductive reasoning, also known from that particular process, is that we didn't have certain amounts of information. Now, we get that and make decisions. See, there's the biggest thing that the news and everybody plays with. It's the psychological warfare game. They're going to limit your information so you can't make the best decision possible, because they have hid information that is pertinent to making a reasonable decision. That is what news media does today. That's the one thing it does, is pulls or holds back misinformation or half-truths. And there's no, like I said, there's nobody being held accountable for this. So what do you do? Let alone it's all bought up by medias and this and that. I mean, people are finally standing up for their food. I mean, this big strike for Kellogg's outside, or, not strike, but, protest outside Kellogg's. Was it Minnesota or Wisconsin or something? And they're like, get the dyes and the poisons out of our kids' foods. You're targeting kids for this stuff. People are starting to wake up and they ain't going to have it. After what happened in North Carolina, what ones that were, whatever color it is, blue, I guess. I go off the base of the person, not a political party. But all of a sudden, there was this huge shift in going from one side of the aisle to the other side of the aisle, let alone no response, let alone signing and all this stuff coming out, to where now you can shoot on American citizens. What the hell? Now you've warned, and a lot of people don't understand this. Law enforcement's been given bulletins and everything else about the sovereign citizen movement. Let me tell you something. If you're going to go through that thing, and I've researched some of that stuff too, if you're going to go through that, nobody identifies as a sovereign citizen, because in Black's Law Dictionary, it's a complete contradiction in words. It's impossible. It nullifies each other. A citizen is defined one way. A sovereign is considered another. Now, a lot will say a sovereign national or a state national. Those are some alliance. With the state national, you're still under the state or hailing from the state. From a sovereign national, basically says I live in this nation, but I am sovereign to all these other particular things other than the Constitution itself. I live under common law. I can reside in any state, is what it does, versus the other one, you identify fully with your state. There's still amount of control. So there's different factions within this, but if you're wanting to go more towards that, totally back to the original first Constitution, the Republic, this and that, from my research, it's you want to be a sovereign national, and what you do is you get yourself set up as a what's that term that they use? A secured creditor. You actually give up your license, everything else for that, and you actually go get a passport, but it does not say U.S. citizen on. Now, understand, these are issued by the federal government, so it's that real.
Right.
As far as the license plates, let's clear that one up, okay? You got to have some form of identification of what you're doing, or this or this or that. The U.S. Department of Transportation will issue you a plate with a registration and everything else because you're filing federally. It's no different than how the truckers do. Okay, so it's a DOT, Department of Transportation. You're cutting out the state is what you do. And then they educate you a little bit more on titles, such as allodial titles and some of the other different titles. I mean, they're so twisted in everything that you own, do, all this other stuff. I mean, when you see how deep the web has come and you wonder where they finance these huge police forces for CPSs and this, that, we are taxed to death on stuff we don't even damn need. Leave me alone, and unless I injure somebody's property or I injure somebody else, fuck off. That's America.
Is there a way that we can get back to the common law? Is there a route back to that?
Yeah, absolutely. You get rid of right now. That's what we're trying to explain to everybody. When it comes down to the states, they go off of codes, and I'm trying to remember the other one. Sorry, it's been a long day. My brain has run 100 miles an hour. But the statutes, codes and statutes is what your state courts run off of. Okay. Now, under common law, and you've got to claim that. See, when you were a U.S. citizen, everybody says, well, I didn't sign up for it. I did this. Yes, you did. Why? You ever fill out a W-2? You ever get a driver's license? You ever get a learner's permit? You ever get a marriage license? You ever go there? See, you're slowly being indoctrinated with all these licenses. Right. When you add a license for it, it means the government has a permission to do that. I'm sorry. If you are truly a believer in your, well, let's put it this way. Let's cover this one. This one you'll love. Marriage. Okay. Back in now you have where you get married, you get a license, then you have to go through the divorce court, then you have child support court, and you have this, and that. See how much government regulation, extra money you spend. Okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't like a prenup of what they're saying, but before the prenup that was dealing with contract law is that you don't have to have a marriage license. The only reason you need the marriage license is to show that for Social Security, for the corporation, that you're getting tax deductions and you're allowing them to track you. That's exactly what you're allowing them to do. You can still legally get married by anybody that is not so much ordained, but above your belief that I am, once again, that's your freedom of religion, your First Amendment right there. They can't interfere with that. I was married before a man of the cloth or before God himself, and we had joined together. Now, the thing that predates some of those, when the courts got involved, because they wanted a way to make money. So they started telling people, well, just do it this way, just do it this way. It's all about the money. It was called a dowry. Now, what a dowry is when you get married, it's a form of contract, almost like a prenup. And it says, here's our conditions that we both agree to, is I agree to put up X amount of dollars. If something goes wrong and it's my fault, I agree to pay this. There's no court. There's no nothing, whatever it may be. In other words, it's a testament of both committedness to the relationship, back to the purity of the marriage. Because then the wife and the wife's father then has to pledge, I've raised her good enough. She's not going to do something foolish or this and that. And I will take and I will pledge this amount of money if she screws up. Because if she screws up, I'm going to get in her ass. See, that's where the families come into play, holding people accountable for a change. So this no contest crap is all about making money. But the idea is then you both go in knowing what to expect of each other and know that if I break the contract that was in there of saying, listen, we just want it to be us, nobody gets to cheat. Okay, the woman says, I'd like to have between this and this amount of children. Do you agree to give those to me? Yes. All that is laid out that people don't tell you because they don't want to educate you on what that dowry is for. It's only if you screw up. But if you screw up, there's no courts, there's no nothing. The dowry supersedes all courts because it's a form of a contract. And you sign it, and generally you would have it notarized or you turned it into your faith or your church. That's why they get away with it and they don't have to deal with all this foolishness. They'll do that for the peasants, but the other people, no. But 90% of it now is wrapped up in contract law. Why? Because you involve the state. You don't have to. Listen, a piece of paper or a ring is not going to take and determine the integrity of a person on whether you're married or not. I'm sorry. There's no argument in that. None. That's your committedness. So when you take it serious that you have your whole family behind you, if you just keep doing the right thing, even though maybe he's not, that's when families worked with each other. They healed each other. They supported each other. But now parents and children are just so damn divided. Sorry, dry spot.
Bless you.
That you can't. We don't have that family core anymore. Or now you've got toxic stuff and gaslighting and this and that, and it's a bad thing to be a female. It's all about girl power, this power. Listen, man, you want to do it on your own, fine. But here's the thing. I choose not to. And here's the thing. Not that I wouldn't be okay, but once again, that's a choice. But all this stuff of I want this, that, listen, that ain't what it's about. It never has been. It's been about taking and find somebody that you're working together with for the rest of your life, and you're making that commitment. Not a career, not anything else. Why? Because here's the thing. I've heard so many people just rag on mothers and ones that stay at home or this or that. Listen, those that stay home and homeschool and everything else, let me tell you something. They will turn out such better children because now your culture, your family's history of serving, say, in the military from the Civil War all the way down, you can teach that now because your public school won't. You will have the nutrition in your children that you now control because they're at home. I mean, those type of things. Hey, you don't want to do that. You want to go out there. There ain't too many women out there that I've ever ran into that want to go to work. They look at it and they say, God, this sucks. This sucks bad. Somebody lied to me.
Yeah.
I don't like this. And now you've done that. You've emasculated the men. Most of the men, they're just, nowadays you've got this whole thing within this pool between the 30s and the 50s of just like men are done. They're done playing the games. They don't do it. And all of a sudden the flip-flop comes, women, we don't need men anyway. That's because men are done. The amount of soul and everything else they thought they were committed to, and then the hells of the courts and everything else, why would I volunteer to ever do it again? Right. Really think about it. It makes a second question. So now you go to these speed dating or these dating places, little festivals, this and that, and you'll look all around every single big city, all over the place. Nothing but women. Nothing but women. People don't want to date no more. They don't want to do this. No, they're tired. They're tired of being lied to. They're tired of being manipulated, especially in the one place that people don't understand is your own damn home, which CPS comes in and destroys. This is my peace. This is my castle. That's why we have castle doctrines. Those things exist. This is why you don't have people in there to be able to secure your papers, your rights, your whatever it may be. Come back with a motherfucker warrant. Hell no. That's why you need to take these assholes to fucking civil court, federal civil court, sue the fuck out of them for your constitutional rights violations. Of course, the state's going to tell you, well, we don't do that. No, they're going to tell you we don't deal with that. That's a federal courtroom. Well, then they have another insulated law to where they take and they put this court case to where you have to get over this one that says you can't deal with family law cases in, in civil jurisdiction. Well, I'm sorry, but the one thing that you can't compromise on is constitutional rights violations. Those are the utmost. It'll get you through if you can stay focused. That's what we're pushing everybody. Guys, go to the federal courts, file your civil court, find a good federal constitutional attorney. Don't talk about family court. Don't talk about, this, and that until it's time. The questions go, the point when you get through that first checkpoint is your constitutional rights violations, and do you have enough evidence to support it? There's where it comes from. I was never given a trial by jury. When I told that to a legislator today about SEC versus Jarsky, as well as another family attorney that does federal law as well, he goes, I didn't even know about that case law. And it's like, what? I said, how do you guys not keep up with stuff? He goes, man, we're so busy doing everything else. No. I said, do you realize what this means? I says, that means all those cases have to be overturned and every judge committed a felony and or magistrates. You file it, they rule it in civil court, you go over across the street and press criminal charges, that judge or magistrate will never practice law again. Especially think about it. How many families do they see a day? If everybody in your county got a hold of this, they're done. They're done. That includes going back and then suing the state back in federal court again. You're going to have a couple rounds in there, but you're going to clean up every time. Then you go after child support. Why? Because I was made to pay this because of a crime that happened. Uh-oh. Now you got the state child support system. You're draining them dry. There's the point. Now you've made it so costly, they can't afford the CPS program because you're going and taking out their judges and magistrates and having them removed with criminal charges. And you're suing the shit out of them left and right. And there's multiple counts for those judges and magistrates. Holy shit, you pissed everybody off. And who's to point the finger at? Well, CPS brought these cases in, and that's just the way we did them. And we got by with it. We made money. And then when we got child support, that went into our retirement fund. Well, guess what? You got to drain all them judges' retirement funds. They ain't going to have shit. Because you're going to sue the shit out of each one of them. But you got to do it a step at a time. There's no, let's just get into court and let it all out because I want to feel better. It's structured like this to wear you down. One, misinformation, lack of information, because you're dealing with CPS. They're going to lie, cheat, steal, break the fucking law, and violate your constitutional rights every single time. The lawyer I talked to, I said, how many cases did you ever get a jury on? He says, none. I said, so how many cases did overturn? He says, all of them. Every single one of them. He said, I'm going to go back and look at that case law and study. I said, go ahead. Told you exactly where to look for it. I said, it's a description of a court, an admiralty court, of what they're allowed to do within their thing. If you can do this and this to the people, such as take their license or find them in contempt, oh, wait, don't you get that all the time when dealing with kids and child support? I find you in contempt. You ain't paid your child support. I'm going to take your license. You were entitled to a trial by jury. And then you get to sue the fuckers for everything you've paid in so far with interest. Guys need to get a hold of this. I mean, it would end all the bullshit. The child support stuff would stop and everybody freak out. Why? Because the person you've been paying child support to, I hate to tell you this, they're going to have to pay back all that money too. There's the hard part. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for child support all of a sudden. Oh, you was greedy, and you was in with a judge. How many years with this and that were people taking advantage? That's why men are done. You know what it costs them in child support for this stuff, and then back and forth in court, and just to even see their kids? I mean, it's disgusting. And then you've got other people that turn around and, hey, I'm looking for my next baby daddy. How many kids you got? 4? And they got 4 baby daddies. What the hell? I need one more because I can continue on until they all growed up enough to do this or this or that. Or, I you get some of the accents, but I'm doing that particular accent because that's who that woman, that was her accent. That was her voice. That said that. I need this, I need that. There was another one that had something like 12 or 13 kids by this and that. And I need my rent paid. I need this, I need that. I'm like, guys, I hate to tell you this. All that evil and everything else, instead of trying to work some things out and grow and heal together, which you should have done because everybody makes mistakes, and our parents failed us all. There's the other thing. There's the first thing I meant. I'm not perfect. But here's the thing. We all need a little bit of healing because you know what? Anything outside that home just destroys us. But when our home is the point that it's destroying us too, we've got no place to run. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I mean, oh, yeah, both sides.
Mhm.
But once again, what are we going to do to have to take and do this? And it doesn't have to be a nuclear family. It has to be 2 adults realizing they're not perfect, learn how to communicate so they understand each other. You may have to speak a separate language when you speak to your spouse that nobody else understands because that's how they understand. That's the part of marriage you need to work on is that most don't say, well, you just need to figure out how to communicate. Understand, ask questions. What don't you understand? What can I make clear? What do you need me to understand? Some people are more visual than anything else. Sometimes you have to show them. Trust me, my wife is extremely visual. So I'll describe something to her or something like that. And I'll say, wait a minute, let me find an example in a picture. Okay, that makes more sense, especially when it's something technical. But she then begins to understand, and you go through the reasoning why, and then all of a sudden it starts to make sense. Now, when it comes to the other side, women have got a lot of feelings. They're just the way they're made. But if you just let her express it, and then you ask her, hey, if we can communicate, watch this. Are you mad at me or mad at the situation? Oh shit! You mean you can ask that question? Guys, hell yes. Women, encourage him to. If you're confused about me, instead of getting mad and leave me alone and running off, how about some communication? Do you want some space? Yes or no? When guys, now Punisher will get with me on this. As soon as you know her little tips and tricks, and she's just in this mood, go get her the blanket, go get her the ice cream, go get this, and that, honey. You got your book, you got lighting, you got your snuggle stuff over here. Is there something else you need that I can help make you feel a little bit more comfortable and give you some space to heal? That's called
the back.
it's called marriage.
I got that.
How you learn each other. That's the way it's supposed to be. And here's the other thing. It goes the other way for women. Learn about your man. Your man is really pretty simple. We're hungry. We love you. Obviously, we love you, so we're horny for you all the time. We can't keep our hands off you. Please don't ever tell your man, don't touch me like that. That will hurt him so bad because he wants to chase after you every day. Okay? It's nothing about, well, you're this or that, or hey, communicate. I need a little personal space, or I'm overtouched today. But make him understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that just, I don't want to be touched. I want that. Then there's something wrong with you. Then maybe you need to go get some serious help because that's not normal. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of people that would get touched out with moms, especially after having birth. And it's called overstimulation. So instead of jumping, here's a little tip for some of you that just having kids and everything else. Mama finally gets to her check mark page and this and this and that. Listen to me, and Tiff's going to go over here. He said, man, this guy's got it down to a T. And just turn around. Listen, take and put the baby somewhere. You guys have a night out. Put her in a room or somewhere quiet and let her de-escalate before you re-engage her. Give her some time. Hey, listen, we have dinner tonight. I'm going to cook up dinner and this and that. I'll take care of the dishes, this and that. Hey, go get you a bath. Go with some candles, this, that. Go soak for a while. I'll let you know when dinner's about done, and then come down and then we'll have dinner. And then I'll clean up. And while I'm cleaning up, you go sit down, read your book, go do something for you, quiet time, this and that. Now you can begin to initiate. See, we're not taught this stuff. Nobody's come up to us and actually told us, hey, we can communicate. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's like night and day. With my wife,
Yeah, but you really communicate. You know, both of your asses are going to sleep as soon as that happens. That's what the reality of it is. You're a real man.
yeah,
You're like, man, we're going to sleep tonight. We are tired.
there's other
We're not
times,
even
like
going
I
to push
said,
for the go in. We're going to go to sleep.
and there's times maybe you need that,
That's
and
the
that's okay.
reality of what really happens.
Yeah, not all the time. It depends on the person. You got to remember, just going to sleep is one thing, but guys make that extra push with her wife because she needs some reaffirmation after having a kid because she doesn't feel all herself. She doesn't feel beautiful like she used to or anything else. It's a massive change. That's where
Of
that
course.
extra little attention and that extra push for that intimacy to reconnect and reassure her and understand intimacy isn't always sex. I'll clarify that there. Give her some time, reassure her everything. And I've
Hmm.
talked to so many younger men of this thing goes, man, I can't even begin to tell you how much that helped my relationship. I said, it's an amazing thing when you learn to communicate and learn something about somebody. That's the one thing when you deal with stuff like CPS, those are the things they don't see that go in the dynamics of your home. They don't care to see. It's not about saving the children. It's not about the family. It's not about that. But if you have a stable home where everybody communicates, it definitely takes and makes a huge difference. I mean, just having those few things we've kind of covered just saying, everybody's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. How hard is it? It's not that difficult. I think the dog has to go out. So give me a minute. I hope it pisses you off.
Oh, he's a good dude.
I want to know. I want to know what lawyer and what state he was talking to. Because if he was talking to a Virginia lawyer, that's bullshit. They fucking know. I'm telling you right now, they know.
You've been holding on to
Virginia,
that this whole time?
listen, yes, the Virginia courts are called the Rocket Dockets for a reason.
The Rocket Dockets.
Yeah, because they go through cases so fast here. It's ridiculous. Gunner, the lawyer you were talking to, what state was he in?
Let's say I've talked to one from Minnesota. I've talked to one in Tennessee. I've talked to one in Oklahoma. So, I mean, I'm getting a lot of it.
All right, so I'm only asking because if you happen to talk to one in Virginia, don't let them lie to you. They know. We're called the Rocket Docket in Virginia. So they know.
That's three times real fast.
Rocket Docket, Rocket Docket, Rocket Docket.
No, I said rocket, docket, socket. See, I'm clearing up that communication. No, that ain't what I said.
Ah. So if you talk to any of them in Virginia, just know they're lying.
Oh no, they were very interested in what we had to say. They was
Well,
just
that's good.
matter of fact, a guy in Oklahoma. There's a guy in Oklahoma that's part of, I think, the Senate or something, the state Senate, that's calling for an investigation into Department of Human Services because of corruption and this and that. He said we don't have all the evidence, but you know, let's see, Gunner, I would like you to glance over my 1983 claim. Darling, if you didn't have a trial by jury, it don't matter how far back it goes. This ruling rolls all the way back with SEC versus Jarsky. 20, 30 years old. Did you get a? Yeah, I had one guy turn around. He says, "Listen, I went through all this shit as a kid through the system, and now they've got my kid." And here's the one that pisses you off. Did you know that CPS has got an illegal gun registry?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I am so ready for my remodel to be done. Kitchen. Over a month or two, it's just like, can we just get done? They just hung the microwave and set the sink today. The countertops are in, they're butcher block. I mean, beautiful, everything else. Single sink, the other sink rusted out. I was trying to save it. Hey, as long as you make it whatever you make it, it is what it is. So, but no, we everything with it, man. It's just been tiresome. It's just been like, okay, I'm ready because here I've upgraded. This is how prehistoric I am. This is the first time I will have a dishwasher in 20 years because I just didn't want to take and have a dishwasher. What's the point? It never got it as clean. At least I didn't think so. But now they got a few other things, and it ain't so much chemicals. You can have some of these all natural things that don't leave residue on your plates or your foods. I told we're looking to eventually redo some things on our kitchen, and we want to go sustainable. Well, we got all hardwood, all wood cabinets was the first thing. Second was butcher block countertops. So you can take and refinish these things multiple times and just change what you want. You can paint it, sand it, do whatever else you want. So it's very versatile. It'll last for a long time. And so a lot of what we were doing is just trying to get that stuff done. And we had so many headaches, and it went from something simple to it rotted out it shared the plumbing wall with one of the bathrooms, that it rotted out the floor. Because when the house was originally built, where what they call the stink stack goes up, the 3-inch pipe through the roof for the sewer gas, where the kitchen sink and the bathroom sink and that plumbing wall went together, somebody busted it where it's supposed to be glued in there. The whole top of it was done, so anytime you did anything, it just splashed water out. And that was enclosed in the wall when it was originally built. So somebody basically just did it to piss off the plumber. Because I work in the trade, so that's what it was, is the plumber pissed somebody off, and the plumber just said, screw it, it's been inspected, and didn't do anything, and left it. So that way I had to go through, not only that, I had to go through a bathroom remodel as well as the kitchen, and I'm over it.
Gunner.
Yeah.
Do you have the 154 cases?
154 cases of.
Where'd it go?
154 cases of what?
To stop CPS in court.
It's not. What do you mean 154 cases to stop them in court?
All right.
There's 154 cases that you can use in court to stop them.
Oh. Yeah, I think I've got several of those lists to do half of that stuff. I mean, my point is just go, am I going to try by jury? Nope, I'm done. Bye. And here's the other part. It goes for child support too.
Yeah, I'm suing the child support and their agents in February.
Which, hold on. If you sue them for taking money, go look at your credit report. If they put it on your credit report, guess what? That's a Federal Trade Commission's violation.
It's not on his credit report, but this case is 25 years old.
Oh, wow. Listen, I don't promote much, but listen, we have a Publix here, and they have these strawberry blue cheese, crumbled blue cheese salads. They are phenomenal.
Oh, I love blue cheese.
With fresh strawberries in it.
Would you like real blue cheese though?
Yeah.
Blue cheese?
True real
Yeah.
blue cheese? I can
moldy
do that.
cheese.
The real stuff I'm talking.
The moldy
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah, I'm talking the real stuff, the $1,000 a pound stuff that come with the little bugs inside of it.
Oh
That's the
no,
real
no,
blue
no.
cheese.
We don't do bugs.
Yeah, so you want manufactured this stuff. I don't want. I love blue cheese, but no, I don't want to. I was a chef for a lot of years. Yeah, I
Crazy.
made the mistake one time of ordering some real blue cheese. Yeah, I never make that mistake again.
Which was the creepiest really? That's good
Never
for you.
ever.
Mm.
Man, this sucks, my internet. I don't understand what's going on. But anyway, so back at the ranch. So Gunnar, first steps to doing this. What do people got to do? We got to go to the federal courts, right? File a.
One, file with the FBI because then you're on the radar. If we get enough stuff through there, then we have enough crimes they can open up a federal investigation. It's reactive. Once you win your civil case, then you go to federal civil court, sue them for just your constitutional rights violations, okay? Once you do that and you get done with that, you walk across the street to the FBI and say, hey, remember that report of this and that? Here's the evidence. I just won the civil case. Go press federal criminal charges against them for the same things that they just paid out on, because that's an admission of guilt. That's why when they pay you off, you have a non-disclosure agreement. Is that way those people can't get fired and then they move them around. Found that one out.
Yeah, but non-disclosures are not, they can be used in a criminal case.
Yep. Well, once again, they just tell the people that as they sign it, and they scare tactic again. Surprise, surprise. Candied pecans with it too, Tiff. Listen, I love fresh stuff. Fresh vegetables, fresh this, fresh that. Love it to death. Give me that over a candy bar or anything, any time of the day.
You're gonna make me go out here and eat some macaroni and cheese. You're just eating all kinds of shit. You make it. You just make it look good. No, I made it homemade.
Gunner's over here eating salad and sushi. You're talking about mashed potatoes and gravy.
I'm talking about macaroni and cheese that I made, not out of the store.
Listen,
right, fresh blue cheese, 7 layers of cheese and everything.
It's not a lot.
I switched over to imported. There's an imported brand that Publix carries called Rayo, and it's imported from Italy. So it doesn't have all the garbage that the pasta has. Listen, I made homemade fettuccine, chicken fettuccine Alfredo. Yes, this boy can cook. I outcook women. I was trained by a master chef. So yes, I didn't do that there. I'm very eclectic and I have several skills. But I made homemade chicken Alfredo, and I do it a little spicy because I like to dust just a little bit of it with a little cayenne pepper, just a little bit to give it a hint of flavor. Or you can go plain, not for, okay, Tiff said no. She's over here having the lasagna. Probably that one. Yeah, that's what I figured.
No spice.
No spice. Just a little bit now, and here's the reason why. That's good for your heart. That's
yeah, but I burned my upper GI before.
Wow. Yeah, but that much cream in with that, it's not at all. You won't even taste it. It tastes like a red bell pepper. By the time
I don't even know how I burned my upper GI. But he was like, no spicy food, no cigarettes, no coffee. I said, well, spicy food I can deal with. Coffee and cigarettes I can't live without.
Looks like Punisher. There he went. Or say he was locked up there. No, I had a little bit of that, and I made up, like I said, made up some of that. But yeah, I had a couple of years I studied under a master chef and just learned how to cook by taste and just really enjoyed the love of cooking. And it was always one of those things of saying, listen, if you love to eat, you better know how to cook. And believe it or not, that was something my ex-wife, my first wife, actually hated, that I cooked better than her. And it's like, because the kids, it's like, hey, you want to cook? You want to cook? Or, this and that. And it was like the kids was always, I want dad's food, like this and that. And it was like, hey, I'm willing to share with you, enrich your life. That's the whole point of it, and bring it up to this and that. These are basic skills that a lot of people just aren't taught. Sorry.
I
You
love
know,
when my husband cooks.
I mean, I can do it up. I mean, steaks and everything else. I mean, I do more teaching on cooking lately than anything else. But yeah. So, you know, I love, like I said, just great using fresh ingredients. It's so important. All this processed stuff. Listen, your health, probably the brain fog and everything else that you have, it's in our food. So when RFK has spoke up about this, I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. Listen, it needs to be said. We're being poisoned. The number one thing, if your child has ADHD, you probably are not having ADHD. You're having an allergic reaction to red dye 40. And it would remove all the stuff that has the dyes in it. So go all natural. Well, yeah. Then why do we put this stuff in here? This is the side effect of it. Well, it's just food. And it's like, what the hell are we doing to each other?
Our food's about to change.
I
Because
really do. I really hope that.
I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I vote for who I believe is going to do the best for our country. So me and my husband voted, and yes, I voted for Trump.
I don't know too many people that ain't after the crap that just happened around here. I'm just saying. Let alone Trump showed up with a tanker. Listen, confirmed. A tanker of fuel for them to get up and operating and do commercial stuff and run the the diesels and everything else. The rescue equipment and stuff go in there, and several truckloads of food. Where was anybody else? Nothing.
They don't care.
Away? No. They've done this throughout history through the Appalachians. Constantly done this to people. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, we started caring more about control, power, money. Listen, when we took out, and this is my opinion, I believe a lot, and this is, once again, this is my personal opinion. When we took the mothers out of the homes, you took the backbone out of the family. They didn't need to make a paycheck. They worked this. Yes, it was a thankless job or anything else, but it always held true to somebody that actually had love and compassion in their heart, raised their family, cared about it, learned, done all this thing, is that the glory of a woman is always her children. You got to remember, you're the greatest influence sitting there while your husband's off at work. Who's got more time to influence the next generation, the kids? You do. Those are things to where, your wife can take and tell stories that she's learned about you and your family or this or that, and explain these things, explain how life is. Because you think if it just going through indoctrination, everything else, look at how many hopeless high school graduates we have that don't even know their basic rights, let alone what color they are, or if they're even human, or how they freaking identify, whether or not they need a fucking sandbox or something to poop in. I mean, something. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's, and there's a balance between the mother and the father at home. I mean, the biggest thing is, you can have these women, you don't want to go home. You wonder why, your men look so tired and exhausted and everything. You don't want to go in that world. I would much rather take, and trust me, if it came down to my decision, I'd live within the four walls or on my property or this and that, and just be left alone. Why? I wouldn't have to deal with the outside world. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of evil. I don't want to see this stuff. People come home and you want your peace in your home. And that's a lot of it. You've got each other against each other. I know CPS, well, what goes on with this, goes on that. There's nothing. We communicate very functionally, very well. Piss off. There's nothing. I don't know who reported it to you or anything else, but I really don't care. There's nothing wrong with my family because you have open communication. You even tell your kids from then. If anything, don't be afraid I'm going to get mad, because I've made mistakes too, and I have every right to be upset or mad. But don't ever fear coming to me.
Yeah, I told my kids the same thing. I said, even if I'm going to get so mad at you, I'd rather you come to me and tell me so I can get mad, deal with it, and get over it, versus you lying to me or not telling me, and then I find out That's what's going to make me even madder.
Focus out of the madness. I'm going to be upset, not mad.
My kids are grown.
Well, I know, but I'm saying it's not just us listening here. You got a wide audience, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is tell your kid, listen, the utmost thing for you or my biggest concern is your safety. To make sure you're safe. I have my own feelings, and that's my responsibility to deal with those. But my number one thing is I want to make sure you're safe and you're okay. Other than that, you can deal with what you have to deal with and deal with it how you should. Not on how bad or how angry you're going to get. Those are your feelings. Why does it have to have anything to do with your kids? That goes back to the whole thing, and don't discipline when you're angry. Be level-headed.
I am this type of mom. Kids are all grown and on their own. But I worry about them more as adults than I did as they were kids. You know what I'm saying? And they don't get that. Oh, Mom, you're just worried. Don't worry. If something happens, somebody will call you. Yeah, but I'm still your mom. I will be your mom until my very last breath. So it's just a mom thing. It's a dad thing. It's a parent thing.
You want to know why that is?
My son said this because you're emotional, Mother. You're just emotional.
It's not. It's actually got a lot of truth in it and a lot more depth to it than most people think. This is the time when they grow up from 18 and getting out in the world or doing things as they grow up throughout. It's a reflection of how good you've parented. It's a reflection of how prepared you were, the training, the information, everything else that you gave to them to go live in this world, because one day we're not going to be here. We're to raise our children to live a life without us. And that's a hard reality. I've heard a lot of people say, no, they'll always need their mom. They'll always listen, no. You realize how many people I've seen crushed with that mentality because they've lost a parent and they don't know what to do? Destroyed their own families because of it? My point is I want to raise you to live a life when I'm gone. Because the humanity and the reality of it is I'm not going to be here forever. My kids had to experience that when I had to have this thing put in. The defibrillator pacemaker and complete heart failure. Died. Come back. Fading in and out, even my own wife. I don't know whether to let you go just so you can have peace or you still want to stay and fight. I don't know what to say. But the kids are just like, hey, I can be somewhat comfortable. I think that they can survive in a world without me for what little bit that I put in it. Some of them, or some a little bit more than the other. But that's the realization you have as a parent, is going, oh my God, did I prepare them enough for heartbreak, for possibly losing their kids, losing their job, financial crisis, infidelity of a spouse, the dying of a child. Those are the harsh things this world gives to us, that we so underprepare our children because we want them to feel safe and protected, rather than there's going to come a time. And that's the hardest thing to ever do, is to parent. You're not their friend. I'm trying to prepare you to live in this world. And it's rough out there. It's not a fucking joke. There's no reset button. There's no start over. There's no cheat codes. There's no dark net to it. It will come in and crush you sometimes, to the point you don't even feel like you can breathe or that you want to live. But understand that's where you got to dig deep and know what to fight for. Reaffirm who you are. They need that kind of confidence when they hit those places when you're not there. When you're not going to be there. You're over here or you're over there, or even you've passed on, or you're not there in the moment. Car accident, middle of the road, and they have to do something to save a life, or this or that. Make a decision. Watch and hold their child as they fade away from a car accident. You're not there. Hell, you won't hear about it probably for a couple hours. that's the reality that they have to go out and face, that we know they're going to have to face. Is why we're worried. We hope we've done a good enough job. At the same time, hey, you're going to screw up. Nobody's perfect. But life's once again, it's a journey. It's not a destination. It's about the ups, the downs, and everything else. And sometimes, you know, it's a damn mess, even throughout history. People that have overcome things, even, you know, you could go biblical. You can go things with, you know, that Job never gives you a timeline. Everybody reads through it so fast. What happened here was a year. What if that was 20 years? He had to suffer. You don't get that timeline. What if you had to suffer what you're suffering now with your kid for, you'll lose it from birth to finally reconnect when they're 19 or something, when they finally get free from a corrupt system? It's a lot of hell. But what makes you persevere? See, that's where the rubber meets the road, as they say, and you see what you're really fucking made of. It's easy to do things in the easy times.
Well, they say your character is built off what you have persevered.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever you went through in your life makes you who you are. That's probably why I'm such a stubborn, hothead, no holds barred, not taking any shit off anybody. That's probably why.
Listen, we're all from different areas. You could be from up north, where it's cold as hell and it snows and it's nasty. You could be down in Louisiana where you just do nothing but, sweat and swamp. You could be in Florida where you storms all the damn time, or anything else. But understand, there's a whole big world out there. You have no clue about it, and it's not the same for everybody. That's the problem, that with grouping everything, especially in government, of one size fits all, the more you micromanage, the more you lose the actual people. Keep it general, keep it simple. You know, use the KISS method, as we say. Keep it simple, stupid. And a lot of that stupid is looking back at yourself. Because sometimes we overcomplicate things. We wonder how far this has gotten, this and that, because we allowed it. So, guys, I appreciate just getting a chance. I had a chance to jump on tonight, but like I said, a lot of this, we got to deal with some core healing in the home that maybe wasn't there before the kids. You know, maybe they're arguing, the bickering, some of the other things, whatever it be. Guys, we need to just do a little bit better. Okay? Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Darren, you ready to end the show? Darren, you ready to end the show? Darren.
Hold on, Tiff. If you can hear me, hold on. Can't hear anything. This is that thing I was telling you about. All three of my computers are taking it. I need to reset this for this next show. But here we go.
All right. Well, end this one.
That was amazing. If you can hear me, that was amazing. That monologue by Gunner was freaking amazing. All right, everybody, we're out of here. Make sure you check the next show. I got to reset computers and all that stuff. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're all out of here. I think the music's playing, so we'll play it.
In 776, brave men put up a fight, mowing down red who wanted freedom. They had to fight, and now we take the sacrifice in vain. They loaded their muskets 5-1. That's why we have the freedom to own a gun, but we are blowing it. These freedoms were created by the forest. They were to be something that stays. But now things are so corrupted, they're taking our rights away. Hey, Uncle Sam, where did you go? How Washington today, but nobody's home. We all want to stand for our freedom, but Nobody wants to do it today. Can't you see time is a waste and the Constitution we love is faded? Don't tread on the reality, or the USA will be the next casualty. We are here for freedom, those who will protect. Unite for the values we cherish, but watch everything perish. Our men have fought for our freedoms, many women have too. Their blood spilled upon the ground, with the news many frown. They paid a price that many won't pay. Now we are letting the cause fade away. The graves of